top 10 games that we actually play with non-gamers. Guys, look who's back.
Dun,
By
dun, dun.
popular demand, Pedro is back.
I don't know why I'm holding guns.
It
Or
doesn't
putting
matter.
them in my
I'm
holster.
hanging out with Pedro and you're not. So it's really cool for me. It's Pedro. And his laugh is back.
My laugh is back.
So I don't know how many videos I've done since you've been here, 100 or so.
Yeah.
And the channel's grown. We have a few more subscribers, but every time somebody subscribes, they're like, "Where's Pedro?" I'm like, "He's not here," and they unsubscribe really quickly. So if you want more Pedro, subscribe. We just cracked our 10,000 views on one that we did together, top 10 solos. Couldn't done it without
Top 10
him.
solos. Very fun.
So that's our most viewed video. So if you haven't seen that one, check it out.
It makes me feel like there's a lot of people that are very lonely out there.
There is.
Playing games by themselves are like, this is the best.
Well, we are gamers. We're not known for being social beasts, right? Pedro's here. So let's talk about our list really quickly. So I was very clear when we talked on the phone that this isn't a top 10 gateway games. This isn't a top 10 games for non-gamers. This is a top 10 games that we actually play and pull out with non-gamers. So the list can be a little bit different. I want to talk a little bit about what I did, and then I'll pass it over to you. Games that don't work for me with non-gamers are timed games. So one thing is like Steampunk is a good gateway game. I really like that game. I just don't feel like it works with non-gamers because they have to download the information while we're rolling the dice and they can't ask me a lot of questions. The second thing is cards that have too much reading on them. Smash Up, while that's a lighter game, doesn't go over well for me with non-gamers, or Marvel Legendary, which is one of my favorite games. I think it was number 1 on my top 100. But it's just too much reading involved and it kind of clogs everything down. They must have a theme. The theme is one of the number one things I'm going to look for with a non-gamer. What can I bring? You know, oh, you're a fan of Spartacus? Let's play the Spartacus game. You like horse racing? Let's play a horse racing game. And nothing too swingy. So even though something like Innovation is an easy game for people to play, it's way too swingy. I don't want them to see games...
Innovation for a non-gamer?
I would not play with a non-gamer.
Oh, okay.
It's too swingy.
Okay.
I don't want somebody to feel like they're doing well and they lost. So like,
that,
just because a card came down. If they played a Munchkin or Take That game, I want to show them there's something different, that if you have a path, you can actually score points and win, and it's a reward. So Innovation would be too swingy. What about you?
I kind of did the same thing. Pretty much I just listed down every game that I take out with a group of people that are non-gamers. And usually when a situation arises where we get together to play games, I'm the guy who's bringing the games. Okay. So, usually it's, Pedro's the game guy, so he's going to bring stuff. And I try to bring things that are relatively light. They have to be fun. They have to be relatively quick.
Because gamers usually play games that aren't fun.
Gamers, it's like, I'm like, hey guys, let's get together and play this economic simulation game. And they're like, oh, is that supposed to be fun? Because this is a party right now. So, some of these, I guess, they're one or two of them could be considered party games, but for the most part, these are games for non-gamers where we're getting together. I want it to be quick. I want it to be fun, and the mechanic evokes what the theme is as well. So it's not just a pasted-on thing.
So I'm going to talk about some honorable mentions that I had that didn't make the list, which I do like and I have run out before, was Pitch Car, the flicking game.
Yeah.
The reason why I don't bring that a lot of times because people look at it and think it's a children's game. I've set it up at church before and nobody wanted to play it. I know that a lot of people have good results. It just seems like it appeals to children more with me, like just getting non-gamers into it. Council of Verona was one that came really close. Have you played this one?
I have played Council.
It's a Romeo and Juliet game. It's fantastic. Las Vegas is a really good dice game. You played that one?
That's on my list.
Spoiler alert. Bang the card game, which Biblos, For Sale, those are some good card games.
Yes.
Copycat, Alien Frontiers, Last Will, all great games that I like to pull out with people but didn't make the top 10. Copycat is a really good game to bring out with non-gamers. You wouldn't think it, but it's gone over really well for me and almost made the list. What about you?
If I have any honorable mentions, they're really more party game categories. So, your Wits and Wagers, your Say Anythings. So even though I do like those games, I tend not to pull those out as much just because I'd rather get these other games out to the table, because for me, the goal of bringing out these games is to try to get people to see, there's more than just the party thing. So
I played a really good automobile game one time where you had to, people were on two different sides and you were trying to get the prices of the automobiles. It's a fantastic game. I
think
don't
it's
know
a
where I
good
played
game,
it.
too.
Yeah, it's great. So those are honorable mentions. All right, Pedro, hit us with your number 10 game you like to play with non-gamers.
So my number 10 game, this might be cheating because it's kind of 3-ish games, but it's Mafia / Werewolf, and I'll even throw in Resistance in there. Even though Resistance is a little bit of its own kind of...
Werewolf or One Night Werewolf?
No, Werewolf.
Okay.
So, you have a group of people. This is the ultimate party game, and then you choose. You can use anything. I usually use like a deck of poker cards, and I use certain cards to designate people as villagers. And so there's a group of villagers, and within the group of villagers there are werewolves. Or in the game that I played a lot when I played as Mafia, so you have mobsters, and what they're doing is they're killing off people at night, and then the townspeople have to figure out who the mafia is. And so it's just your very basic social deduction game. If you are a gamer and you're watching this video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're a non-gamer, this is a very fun game. I started playing this when I was in college, and so I really liked it. It's got a role-playing kind of feel, and you usually have a moderator. Well, not usually, most of the time. All the time you have a moderator unless you're playing Resistance. But you have a moderator, and if you have a good moderator, you get these really great stories, you have a good time, and you're actually playing a game at the same time. So
now, for Werewolf, how does that play with non-gamers, the elimination? If a non-gamer is eliminated first, do they stick with it usually?
Yeah, usually they stick with it because it's entertaining to watch the story unfold, because it's a narrative game, right? So it is about winning, but when you die, then you kind of see, I didn't realize that person was the werewolf, or that person was a mobster, and now they're kind of seeing the interaction. They kind of are watching a show, in a sense, as the game continues. So that's pretty fun.
My number 10 is actually Pandemic. This is really interesting to pull out with people who have not played a lot of games and say, look, here's a game where we play together against a board. That's something that most people haven't seen.
That's true.
Most people that I know that come to the games, maybe they've heard of Ticket, maybe they've heard of Catan, but normally not. The Monopoly is the game that they've heard of, right? Where it's very cutthroat, you're trying to eliminate everybody and causes arguments. So it's really neat to have this game that we play together. The reason why it came down a little bit on the list, how people think Pandemic would be higher, is they have a tendency to just kind of stare at you to know what's going to happen, and you end up, not so much because you want to be the alpha player, but because they don't know the rules that well. In a cooperative game, it's easy for them to say, okay, you're going to deal with this, and I'll just take my turn, and they don't get the full scope of the rules that you would get in a competitive game. So that's why it would be held back a little bit for me. All right, Mr. Mendoza, number 9.
Number 9. These next few games on my list are all card games. So starting with Six Nipped. Have you played Six Nipped? So it's a really simple card game where you're playing cards to a row, to one of like 6 rows, and the cards you have to play them in order of ascending order, and then if you can't play them, then they become junked, and then you have to take certain cards. So the object of the game is to have the least points. So you're trying to take cards that'll actually score 0 points instead of the cards that score you a lot of points, and it's a really easy game to play with people that have never played.
Is it kind of like Parade?
I've never played Parade.
Okay. Parade's a little card game with Alice in Wonderland. It kind of sounds like it, but it could.
Yeah. So it's really fun. It's really easy to play, and it's really easy to teach, and people really get a blast out of it, especially if they've never played card games like this before, because there's just several rows, and they know, okay, I know that a 6 goes after the 5, but I have to make sure I don't bust, because if I bust, then I have to take these cards, and these cards are worth a lot of points that I don't want to take. And it's just a really neat interaction.
There's a Walking Dead version of this game.
Yes, there is. Yes.
Yes, I've played that. I know what you're talking about now. That's not like Parade, but that's a fun game.
Yes.
I have the Walking Dead one just because I can get that to the table with non-gamers easier because it has the Walking Dead, but it's a really big stretch. Who would ever think a Walking Dead would be on that game? But whatever, it's there. That's a good pick. My number 9 is a horse racing game called Long Shot.
Oh, that's
and
a
this
cool
is a
game.
really, really fun little party. If I'm going to play a party game, it's Long Shot. I really like this game. People understand it from the theme immediately. The horse racing, the betting, it all makes sense to them. And it's really weird. As popular as horse racing is, and everybody kind of knows it, how the bets pay off in horse racing. Not so much the game, but in general, people don't understand the odds and how that work. It's very confusing.
That's the most complex part, I think.
Yeah, it is. Really great game. If you haven't played this one, highly recommend it. This is a party game you need in your collection, but I love bringing it out with non-gamers because it's just and it plays quite a few players, which is nice when you have, 6 people over.
Do you ever play Camel Cup?
I played Camel Cup.
Do you like that? You like Long Shot?
I like Long Shot better, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm excited to hear your number 8.
My number 8 is a classic, No Thanks.
Oh, great one.
So fun, so easy. I guess you could call it, it's one of those card games that is the introduction to a push your luck game. So all you're doing in this game is you're trying to collect a row of cards. And so just like in Six Nip, you're trying to get the least amount of points. Yeah, you're trying to get the least amount of points. Yeah. And so the way you do that is you have to collect. A card gets flipped over from the deck, and then people can choose what to take this card. If you want to take the card, then you put it in front of you, and then as you collect runs of cards, your score is always the lowest number of that run. But if you disrupt that run, then that's how you actually get those points, right? So what you want to do is you want to get the right cards at the right time because only one card gets flipped over at a time. But if you don't want it, you can just say, you know what, no thanks, and you put a little token on there. And so as it goes around the table, these tokens get put on this card. And so when you finally decide to take the card, you take those tokens because at the end of the game, those tokens take away points from your score, so that way you can get even lower. And it's just so simple. It makes so much sense. It's easy. You can explain it as the game plays, which is very fun. And I think the rounds go really quick, and I really enjoy it. And it always goes over really well with people that I play with.
I've actually used this one a lot, but it's such a simple game. I don't feel like it showcases what games can be. So I would hate for somebody to come over and only play that because I feel like you could play it almost. It's just so simple. Yeah. That's why I didn't put it on my list. Number 8 for me is my gateway game, which, believe it or not, it's very heavy, and I've used it a lot, is Power Grid.
Come on.
I know. I use this game all the time.
Come on.
No,
Power Grid?
I promise. I've used this game over and over and over again as a gateway game because what I like about it is the supply and demand. It shows you what board games can do economically without being overwhelming because the pieces fit so well together. I have used this game over and over and over as gateway. Let me put a caveat on that. I do look at their intelligence before they play. Serious. I'm serious. Because some people just don't have the patience for a heavy game, and I'll be like...
And can't do the math.
And can't do the math. Or it'll just take forever. But I tell you, at least on 10 or 11 occasions, I've used this game as a gateway game a lot. I'll tell people, they hear about me playing these games at church a lot, and people will be like, I want to come over and check this out. I'll be like, do you want to play something easy, or do you want to play something hard? And they usually go, let's play something for real, let's do this. Power Grid's the game I'll bring out, and I've used it a lot, and people are always blown away by that supply and demand. The auction throws them for a loop. They don't understand what to bid and how to bid, so you got to kind of help them with that.
Well, it's hard because they have never played the game.
Correct.
So how do they know how to value things?
They don't, a lot of times. But it piques an interest in them. And I knew this was going to be the most controversial one on my list, but I have used it. This list is about what I use, not what you should use. This is the game that I've used. This is my gateway game into gaming. I played this before Ticket to Ride, well before. I played Age of Steam before Ticket to Ride. I played this before Carcassonne. I only played one game before this was, like a gamer's game, which was called Oasis. I don't even know if you played that one.
No.
But Power Grid I played on the same night and blew me away. And I said, I got to get into this hobby. And
this game got you into the hobby.
Power Grid did, absolutely.
Wow.
Oasis, I was kind of like, this is neat, this is good, and that was our filler game for the night. And Power Grid was our main game. And I'm like, this is amazing. I just loved the supply and demand. I just loved how it worked. So every once in a while, if I feel like somebody can handle it, I'll throw this down with them and Power Grid. I'm using Power Grid this Thursday for a gateway game.
Okay.
No joke.
Wow. How many people do you play with?
I'm playing 6 this Thursday.
And the other 5 don't know how to play?
One other person at the table knows. He's never played Power Grid, but he's played board games.
Oh, man.
I got this one down to a science, my friend.
I'm sure you do, but 6-player game of Power Grid with people that don't know, that have to do the math calculations, that don't understand the options, is going to be so long.
No, because when we play, we just roll with it. We go.
Okay.
We go.
Okay.
I don't do. You know well enough at my table you don't have AP or you're gone. That's for you, Mike Peterson. I
And when he says you're gone, he's like, "Get your coat and get out of here."
Yeah, you go back to Minnesota, my friend. Get out of here. Oh, his new nickname is Alan Peterson, by the way.
Why is it Alan?
Because AP is the nickname. Oh. I don't think he likes it that much. But
okay.
All right, that's number 8, Power Grid. All right, let's hit number 7. You've been raving about.
Number 7. So we have spades, we have hearts, and now we have diamonds, baby.
What you talking about, Willis?
I'm talking about trick-taking games. Everybody knows how to play a trick-taking game. It's very rare that you find people that don't know how to play trick-taking games. I think it's one of the simplest kind of games to learn if you haven't grown up in the hobby, I guess, because there's people that have grown up playing our games that never played trick-taking games. But Diamonds is great. It's just another
variation. It's a Mike Fitzgerald game.
It is a Mike Fitzgerald game, and pretty much it's kind of like spades, only with special powers. So you have a hand of cards, and you just play a card, and you just lead, and then whoever wins gets the... If you win diamonds, then you get these cool little gems that come with the game, and then you're collecting gems to get the most points. But depending on what cards you play, you can do other things like steal from other players or do shenanigans like that.
I do not like this game. And I played it one time with Lance, the Undead Viking. We were playing it, and I was just throwing random cards out because I hated it so much.
Okay.
I can't wrap my mind around it at all. And he got so mad at me. He was like, "Stop throwing random cards." I'm like, "Stop playing bad board games." I lost the argument.
See, so you were just playing randomly?
I can't wrap my mind around it. I actually did better when I started doing random. It was better than the decisions I was making. So.
Oh no, I it's a great game. I like it. If you're into trick taking games, this is a very, very good one.
Number 7, Ink and Gold. This is a game, my friend. This is a pressure luck game. I didn't even think about it just now. The Adventurers is kind of a good game to add to this, kind of the pressure luck. Because the Adventurer has that whole Indiana Jones thing that people will like. Mm-hmm. But the Ink and Gold works really well. It's simple, just some cards and some gems. People immediately pick it up what you're supposed to do. It doesn't have the added layer that, say, the Adventurers has of rules. Right. But Ink and Gold always goes over well. And you always have that one player who tells you how good they are at predicting the future when it's really... nah. But Ink and Gold is that. You like this one?
I do like this one. The part I like the most is as you journey further into the cave, then you have this dual decision of, should I go back and take all the treasure that we couldn't pick up? But are they thinking the same thing?
Right.
Should I go deeper? I don't know. And I love that tension.
Because if somebody goes out with you, you have to split the goods.
Yes.
So you don't always want to go out when it's obvious because somebody else is going to go out with you. And I think it's just been reprinted as Diamant, which was the original name. So Diamant to Ink and Gold to Diamant. But I have the Ink and Gold version.
Yes, I also have the Ink and Gold version. But very good. Good tension. It's just really well designed. Love this game. People get it real quick.
Numero 60.
Number 6. This game is called Splendor. Have you played Splendor?
Oh, great choice.
This is a really, really nice, clean design. I almost call it like a baby Euro.
The fact that it didn't win Game of the Year that year was crazy.
Yeah, that was an insane year. But this game is really simple. I mean, you're just collecting gems that are in the form of these poker chips. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to gain cards in order to gain more cards to get these point cards at the end. And it's just a simple little engine building game that everybody gets. Your turn is really quick. The decisions are fairly straightforward, so there's not too much brain burn, but I think you get a good experience. And it can get a little old after you play it several times, but for non-gamers it's just like, oh wow, this is really interesting, and they like it so much, and I don't get bored.
Has the app replaced the game for you?
I have not played the app, actually.
Whoa. Yeah, this is an app you need to download.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the app is really good, and you get a lot of games in solo pretty quickly, so
okay.
I'd recommend that too. My number 6 is King of Tokyo. People the only thing I don't like about it is the player elimination. I don't like that with new gamers, because that's something I tell them with Monopoly. It's antiquated, it has player elimination, then I put a game on the table with player elimination, but it really works. You need to have people who are okay attacking each other. Yeah. So it's not every gamer group I'm with, which is why it's not higher up on the list. But if I have a group of people and enough to that party atmosphere where I think people just want to roll some dice and have some fun, this is definitely one that I'll pull out. King of Tokyo with the power-ups if possible. There's a really good expansion it has with it.
Yeah, great game.
5, man. What do you got?
Number 5. This is a classic. It's like almost 20 years old. Catan. I guess that's that's what they're calling it now. Catan.
You still play this?
I play it with non-gamers.
Really?
You know what's really funny is I don't play this game with my gamer friends.
Oh no,
it's retired, but with people that are not gamers, this game like blows their mind, and it's almost like, you know, when you watch a movie that you kind of know the twist and plot twist, and so when you watch it again, you don't want to watch it again because you know the plot twist. You want to watch it with a friend and see how they react to it.
Right, yeah.
And so playing Catan with people that have never played before, it just brings me so much joy to see them just be like, wow, I didn't know games could be this.
Right.
And so I still have that game only for that strict purpose of playing with my non-gamer friends.
I splurged for the collector's edition of that too, so when I pull it out, it's got like that fancy 3D. Yeah. So it pops like, oh, this is really, really nice. But I never play it because it's just, that was never a game that, I don't like the trading aspect. That's what I don't like about it.
Oh, that's my favorite part. The trading.
You know, it's hard when I'm at a table because I have such a big personality, and usually a negative personality, that nobody wants to trade with me. So it might as well not even be in the game.
So you play like professional Catan players,
where
nobody trades with them.
No, I get friends who love me down at the table, and they'll be like, "Oh, you own the game. You can't win. We're not trading with you. You know what you're doing." My number 5, I did a tie here of Coup and Resistance Avalon. If I have enough players, I'll play Resistance Avalon. If not, it'll be Coup. But they're both kind of a bluffing game. One has a social deduction, one has more of the bluffing, but you're still kind of bluffing in both games. These are really fun. Coup's actually easier to teach for me. Resistance has a little bit more. I'm like, let's get through a game and just kind of see, but we're going to play 2 or 3 of these in a row. I prefer Resistance Avalon to Resistance. I just kind of like the theme better. It's easier, I think, especially for non-gamers. But those 2 are really good, and those 2 need to be in your collection. You can play this with just about anybody.
Yeah,
I
really like Coup a lot.
Yeah,
I like the fact that you can play this game and you don't. I had people that play this game and they never look at their identity cards. They just have, the way you play the game is you have these 2 identities, and then you just say what you are, and you take an action for what you say you are, and people can try to call you out on it. And so this guy, he never looked at his cards. He would just get handed 2 cards, and he'd say, "I'm the captain. I'm taking your 2 coins," and they're like, "Oh, I don't even know what to say right now." So it's very cool. I really like that.
Have you played the app?
There's a Coup app?
Yeah, there's a Coup app now.
There's an app for everything. I have not played the
Not for everything, but for Coup there is.
Okay. Do you play with people like online, or?
I've only ever played against the AI.
I think you would lose so much from Coup because a lot of it is about, reading people at the table.
Sure, I agree. So it's all right. So excited to hear your number 4 game.
Oh, you should be, because it was also on your list. It's King of Tokyo.
Oh, great choice.
Same thing that Jason was just saying about the game. It's just so easy for people to play, and it's so fun. Thematically, it makes so much sense. It's just everybody as a kid played King of the Hill, and that's what this game is in dice form and miniaturized, where it's like, oh, so if I'm in the center, I get to hit everybody? It's like, yes, you can.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I could totally get
Let's
with
do
that.
this.
So it's just a straight slugfest, and I like
Who
how
do you play
quick
with?
It goes. Oh my goodness! I usually play with friends of mine who have kids.
No, I mean, which character do you pick?
Oh, which character? I like the Cthulhu-looking guy. I guess his name's the Kraken.
Okay.
So I usually play with him.
I like the Godzilla. Yeah. I know it's boring, but
it's just it's so original.
Yeah.
But power-up expansion.
My number 4 is Sheriff of Nottingham. I really like this game. Yeah, I like games where you have to lie to each other, like Coup, Nothing Personal, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Sheriff of Nottingham has that. I've only seen it fall flat a couple times because somebody just didn't get. I had to play with somebody who didn't want to lie one time. And they were just telling the truth the entire time. I don't feel like that's a fun way to play, although they won.
That's really funny.
They're like, I'm not putting any contraband in. I'm an honest guy. That's what you get for playing with Mormons all the time.
But that's a great strategy.
I guess, man.
Everyone's like, "Did you lie this time?" No. Oh man.
Right.
I keep on thinking this guy's lying, but no.
And I played this with some really fun people who got into it, role played, had a really good time. But Sheriff of Nottingham is an excellent game. You just have to shuffle that deck, that humongous deck, really well.
Really big. Yeah.
But that's a great game. of just pure bluffing. Do you like it going around twice, or do you like it just going around once?
I like it going around twice.
I think so too.
Yeah, because you need that, especially for people that haven't played a lot of it. They need that first time around to kind of, I see what's going on here. And then they have that one more chance to do something about it. So, yeah, no, I really like it.
And even though it only plays 4, I consider it a party game.
You can play with 5, I think, can't you?
Is it 5?
I'm pretty sure it's 5. Okay. But yeah, I consider it a party game too.
It's funny because in our party game list, you didn't. You're like, it's a party game to you? Doesn't play enough people.
Did I say that?
Yeah, go back and watch our top 10.
Hold on, I have my list here of party. You're right, I don't.
I know you didn't because you gave me a hard time about it, this guy.
Yeah, yep.
This guy.
Well, it's party-ish.
No, so. It's a party game.
I guess it's 5 people a party. for Jason, it is a party.
Party, man.
5-person party.
What you got for number 3, Mendoza?
For my number 3, this is the most complicated game on my list, and it is Lords of Vegas. I like this game.
My number 3 is Lords of Vegas.
Shut up. Really?
Lords of Vegas,
Come on! So this game is so good.
Would you introduce their expansion up with it? 5, 6 player?
I only do it if we have more than 4.
Right.
So if we have more than 4, we'll do up.
Let's do a high five.
High five.
God, it's Major Mendoza. Watch this hand.
So this game is just so easy to teach. People get the theme.
They like rolling dice. People like that, right?
Oh, it's so fun.
They understand that.
And there's a lot of, I guess you could call it take that, where you're just trying to take over other people's casinos and you do really silly moves. And then there's so much bargaining for everything. So it's like, I want that lot. I need this casino. Okay, I'm just going to gamble and just make sure that my casino...
Oh, when you do those takeovers where you roll the dice, there's like so much... We had something going on.
So it's really good. I just really like the game. And people tend to just really enjoy that whole feeling of... It feels like Vegas. It evokes that theme so well.
So my grandmother played this with me, and she's a little senile. And I kept talking to her about like the strip. She's like, I don't play card games like that anymore. I'm like, come on. No, the Vegas Strip, this line of how... It is like, it was just funny moment. Yeah. But it's crazy. But there's so many good moments in this game. Like, there's some luck in it, and that's fine with non-gamers and with gamers. It's just a great game.
Right.
But when you're doing that takeover and you spend that money to re-roll all the dice in that casino, hoping you get control of it, is just brilliant. I remember one time playing with this couple that I play with, and she did it like 3 or 4 times in the game, and it never came up. And it was just all you can do is laugh, right? That's all you can do is laugh. Fantastic game, and we both picked at number 3. It's really one that if you don't have, seek this one out. Even if it has inflated prices, it's a classic game to me that I'll never get rid of.
Number 2 is a dice game called Las Vegas, which I think was one of our
honorable mentions. Yeah.
So not to be confused with Lords of Vegas, which I just said.
You put Las Vegas above Lords of Vegas. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that.
I don't either.
I think it's because I pull it out so often. Gotcha. It's so quick. It's a very short game. You played
with the expansion? I just learned there was an expansion for it. I never played it.
I have not played with it. I want to.
Yeah, I do too. Apparently it wasn't released in America or something.
No, you have to get the overseas. Well, you have to get from overseas. But the expansion is supposed to add some really another 2 players, and some cool extra things. But I like this game.
Excuse my racist friend. He only meant overseas if you lived in America. But if you lived in that country, it'd be available to you at your friendly local gaming store.
That's true. That would be true. So I apologize for this.
That's weird. You being the racist one. All right, tell us about the game.
But the game's really fun. I mean, you just have 8 dice, and then you have these. I guess they're different casinos that are listed 1 through 6. You roll all your dice, and you pick all of one number, and they all go into that casino. And it's just so fun because once everybody places their dice, then you try to figure out, okay, this casino makes this much money, I have the most dice, I win. However, if 2 players have the same number of dice, those dice just go away. So now there's a strategy.
That's the brilliant part of the game.
Of where to put your dice, depending on how much money is on each casino. And it's just so quick. It's so easy. People get it, and people, like I said, people like rolling dice.
You're rolling a lot of dice in that game.
And so you're always rolling dice. It's always fun. It's always active, and it's short, and it's over with really quickly. So I really like Las Vegas. Pull it out a lot.
My number 2 is Stone Age. I love this game. The app is really good. Mm-hmm. Favorite part about bringing it out, apart from being a fantastic game, is making people smell the cup when it first comes out.
That is disgusting.
It is disgusting. People always tell me, it's funny when like my wife and I are playing with somebody different, they're like, that smells like human flesh. I hear that more than once. I've heard that on 2 different occasions. I'm like, how do you know? But that cup, man, it's just legendary. It's a really great little worker placement game. You got dice rolling again. People, non-gamers, understand and like that. It has a little bit of luck in it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit hard to explain because you got to divide for the gold, divide by 5 and 4 and stuff. People pick up on it really quickly. You can get, if you don't know what you're doing, knowing that you're not getting resources, you're getting victory points. You need to get the resources to get the victory points. And that's a big step for us gamers. That's easy. We're used to that. Nowadays, games have 2, 3, 4 steps to get the victory points, but it's one: get the resources, get the tiles, and get the victory points. The scoring can be a little odd sometimes with the huts, and like if you have this multipliers, that gets a little bit confusing. You can actually get rid of that if you just want to, just for a first playthrough for practice. But it's not that difficult, really. Then you have the set collection. That's a little bit more complicated, but you'll have no problem as a gateway game. Have you used this one before?
I've never used Stone Age
Yeah.
to teach. I just think, like you said, the scoring is a little complex, and so you have to kind of understand what those mechanisms are. But what's really strong about Stone Age is that you put your workers to get that material because it's very clear what you need to get for the quick points, and so that's fun.
And the tools are a little bit hard for people to understand too. I can utilize the tools and
Change numbers, right?
But a lot of it makes sense. Like you send 2 workers into the love hut, and you get a baby back, right? That makes sense to people.
Mm-hmm.
You go out in the field to get gold or wheat or whatever, and you roll the dice and you get it. That makes sense to people.
A die per worker.
And I'm okay the first time I play a game with somebody if we don't totally understand the scoring. I know that would drive some people crazy. But I'm fine kind of playing a game and trying to figure it out as we go along. But Stone Age is for me. All right, Pedro, your number 1 game that you play with non-gamers.
Code Names. It is such a good game. Mm-hmm. And people like this game so much. I don't know what it is about it.
Me either.
I tried to think, but every time I've had friends who are non-gamers that we've played this game, and they went and bought it, and they don't buy games. That's what's so crazy to me. They're like, I like that game so much that I bought it, and now that's the only game we own.
It helps that at Target it's $15, right?
It does help.
Do you always play boys versus girls?
No.
Okay, that's how we always end up just dividing it.
Well, that stinks for you.
So we'll have couples over a time. So like
we play couples versus couples.
Okay, so you have like just 2 couples?
So if we have...
Because there's only 2 teams in it.
Yes. So it'll be...
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't usually pull it out unless I have 6. I'm trying to find a 6-player game.
Right.
So we'll just break up boys and girls. So we usually have 3 couples. But yeah,
right.
Go ahead.
No, but I just really like it. It makes a lot of sense. And there's a lot of hilarity because, you're trying to connect several words together with a 1-word clue. And people just go bonkers over that. I guess people like word games. I'm not a big word game guy, but I think everyone who is a non-gamer tends to like word games in general. But that's a game I pull out. I like it. I enjoy it a lot. It gets a lot of laughs. So, Codenames.
Do you play the After Dark version?
No, I should get it.
I can't imagine. I haven't seen what the words are, but I can just imagine.
Yeah, they don't. I think it's like, ooh, now this one has lingerie in there. Jeez, how am I going to work that in?
I thought it was going to be like PP and stuff like that.
Oh, I don't know. That's the only word I saw on the box. So,
my number 1 is Ticket to Ride, but in particular the collector's edition. It pops off the table. Even if somebody's seen Ticket to Ride, they haven't seen this version. Mm-hmm. And it just pops from that table. People see it. I like it. It's easy to teach. They immediately get it. You only have a couple options. You have 1 of 3 options. And the ticket one, you really don't do that much. So really there's 2 options. Draw cards or play cards. Very easy. The collector's edition just looks great. They're like, wow, what is this? My Ticket to Ride doesn't look like this. I've heard that a lot. Or... what is this game? These components, they're so nice. Once again, that's why with Catan, I like the collector's edition.
Yeah.
And if you can spring for that, because it just pops off the table. Somebody walking by will look at it. And that's what I want them to do. I want them to look at the game and say, wow, this is neat. Nobody's going to be drawn, well, not many people are going to be drawn in by the train theme, right?
No.
Yeah. Or some of these other themes, like Romeo and Juliet might bring them in, or Power Lines. That's going to bring people in, right?
Power Lines. Yeah. That's exciting.
But when you look at that collector's edition, it's just wonderful. And it looks great. The components are really well done. The cards are great. And it pops. And it's such an easy, brilliant little game. I think that, I really think that Ticket to Ride may have outstayed its welcome for me, but I can still get people to the table to play it.
Did you not play with the newer maps?
I will sometimes if, not very much to be honest. Which is why
well, obviously not for the purposes of this video.
But. And I really haven't, because I don't particularly like Ticket to Ride that much. It's too simple for me. But I do need to get those other maps out. I haven't even reviewed them, and that's why, because I don't care for the game that much. It's just too simplistic. And like I said, my gateway game was Power Grid. So you can see where I jumped off the deep end. Going backwards, Ticket to Ride was very, very simple to me compared to what I had played at that point. I kind of wonder where I would have been if I would have started with Ticket to Ride and moved up.
I don't know. Where would we be?
Any surprises about the list?
I'm surprised you put Power Grid.
I'd use it, man. I'm telling you.
I know, but that's such a
I know.
A complex game.
It is, and I've used it. That's why I wanted to make sure that we made this list, because we might do a top 10 gateway game list down the line. These are the ones that we actually use, and that might be a little bit about who we hang out with.
Yeah, it also has to do with the dynamics of the people in the group, right?
I was surprised you didn't have more cooperative games.
No, I have no cooperative games.
I'm surprised, because cooperative games are usually good for non-gamers because you're working together and it's something they haven't seen before.
Yes, but I don't know, cooperative games. We can get into a discussion of. I consider it more of a puzzle.
Okay.
And so it's not really gamery, and I think people like having a sort of agency. At least the groups that I play with.
Well, you haven't played David Crockett and the Alamo. That's why. It's not a puzzle, my friend. Thanks for watching. Pedro, do you think they should subscribe to the channel?
I think you should subscribe to the channel. Maybe you can get more me.
Celebrity endorsement. That's nice. If you like the video, like it, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Wait, P.S. They're going to ask me, when are we going to see you again?
Oh, my goodness. I'm going to try to be more frequent. It's difficult. I have a little baby.
I have kids, too.
My wife just got
I have a wife, too.
Injured. So I'm thinking
I'll go injure my wife.
I will try to make it more regular, so no promises of... I can't say the next one, because I don't know when your next one will be.
Thanks for watching, and comment, Pedro, come back, and maybe he'll come back to see us. Pedro, seriously, thanks for coming back.
Yeah, thank you.